Yeah, I already know what you're probably gonna say. Yeah, I'm late to this because it's been 2 months ago since we last did a Doujin check when it comes down to it. But to be honest, trying to find an actual crazy lolly Doujin to look into, to talk about, is kinda hard to do. Especially when you want the art style to look good, make sure it's still something that's quite fathomable, and at the very same time, doesn't have elements into the stories that is like, annoying, like NTR or Ugly Bastards, or at least not done so in a way where it's egregious. But that's just how it is and why this took so dang long, which is why this one will be a mix of stuff when it comes down to it. But before I begin, like I usually would say, if you have a doujin that you would like me to check out, please go ahead and put that in the comments, and I may or may not actually put that for the next video. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel just to see what else we can do here, then please do, because I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Some people in the Discord server was asking, hey, was he gonna stream the whole, Gamecom thing, and I just couldn't be able to, because again, don't have that sort of ability to do so right now. So subscribing will also help getting closer to that goal, so we can maybe at some point in time in the future pull that type of thing off. I don't know how, but it'll be nice to see. And if you'd like to support me when it comes down to things of the finances of the channel and just things in general for me to survive in life, then Kofi is very much available, along with Cash App. Link will be in the description and in the comments as well. But without any further ado, let's take a look at some doujins, shall we? Before I really get into the doujins though, I want to take a look at one doujin in particular that has character designs that I think are really good, but I don't really care too much for what's going on. And that's something that I try to look forward to when it comes down to these doujins, is to make sure I'm finding something that actually is worth the time, actually feels like, there's more to it than just clapping cheeks, which granted, ultimately, these books meant to be here for research material, and that's just how it is. But ultimately, I like to see if there's any more added to it to make it a bit more crazy than it already is. Like this one, for example, is called Being a Cram School Teacher is Tough. This one has, some very nice moments in there, and honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, Asagi is like the only reason why I even wanted to mention this one, because I like her design. She's sexy as all hell, and basically, hidden as hell when it comes down to wearing that mask and glasses and shit, but she looks like the type of girl I will be very much wanting to clap cheeks as well. My problem with it is that the manga, or at least doujin, is not necessarily just doing anything crazy. It's a little too straightforward for what I'm looking for when it comes to these sort of videos in general, right? Like again, it's good, it's fine for what it is, but it's a little too straightforward. So things like this kind of makes me slightly mad, because it's like, man, I wish there was more to this here, because you have a character design look this damn good, only for you to kind of not do anything extra with it, or maybe not go as crazy as you possibly could when it comes down to it, and it's just a bit boring, honestly. So that's just how it is for me. But now let's look into some ones that, do something at least a little different, like this one here called Welcome to the Brothel School Festival First Day. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, it makes me be like, yes, this is fine. Sure, it's straightforward as well, and it's basically what you would imagine it to be, but at the same time, I haven't seen anybody really pull this idea off or really do it in some crazy way, or whatever the hell how you want to go about it. Like, yes, you have tons of school festivals in Japan when it comes down to anime aesthetics and how they go about it in different shows and whatever, but to actually say, hey, let's just make it actually a doujin, that's the first time I've ever really seen it. Not necessarily something that I was expecting to see, but it's nice to see it actually be done, which, to be honest, not gonna lie, I kind of thought about doing that for a Kokatsu skit at some point in time as well. So it's not an uncommon idea, but it's an idea that at least can be visualized and be done, and it's not necessarily a bad idea when you actually put it into practice. The next one on the list is going to be a Punishing Gray Raven one, which is basically going to be featuring Sophia, and I think it's called Bad in Internal Engine, which, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen this one like a month back, and I think I did a video basically kind of mentioning Sophia at one point in time, and that's kind of the reason why I mentioned her in that video, because I saw this and honestly was planning to do one of these videos before, but I just couldn't find anything to kind of put this in, so we're doing it now. And I'm not gonna lie, Sophia bad as hell. right? Like I said, the only thing that makes me kind of just like, I wish they kind of took the freckles away. But outside of that, she about bad as hell. Why wouldn't you want to clap? And I can very much understand why they say in this Doujin, yeah, we're gonna basically lock her up for free use. Everybody gets to have a go on her, and then we just shove a horse through her in the end, because why the hell not? But honestly, she looked mad good. She's just, again, like a dark-skinned Konako, because she doesn't really have, like, as far as I have seen, I haven't played the game, have like much emotion or whatever, or feels like she's on that kudere sort of timing, and the white hair and the yellow eyes does a lot, because it also just is the Konakoism that's just there. So high key, that was just good regardless. That was just gonna be, GG's her ass is mine sort of situation regardless, because that's just how it is. But ultimately though, the dojo looks very good. Honestly, I really like the art style to it too, which granted, I would imagine with a gacha game kind of, being what it is and how the fan base makes some dope ass art, I would imagine the art style would be no problem, no issue whatsoever. And again, it's kind of another straightforward one, but more so specifically, this one get a rise up out of me just because, the character looks good, and also makes me realize, damn, there's some dark-skinned Lolis that should be created now. There definitely should be some more love towards dark-skinned Lolis, honestly. That, I feel like that's what we definitely need in the world, because we don't get a lot of these when it comes down to it. Like, I'll crack her ass 5 ways from Sunday if I could, because that's just how fine Sophia is when it comes down to it. I don't know anything about the character outside of, like, she got founded by, I guess, like a renegade of people, but that's really about it. But ultimately, still nonetheless, her ass needs to be clapped, and I'm glad to see this damn doujin. And speaking of the dark skin type of timing, I think we could go into our more messed up one, which is missionary position. I know what it sounds like, but to keep it very much a stack, it is not what you think it is. Essentially, you get this one guy essentially just walking these new lands, trying to find things for their, I guess, find whatever the hell they're trying to find for their religious group or whatever, trying to serve their deity when it comes down to it. And ultimately, they going into this unknown having-ass forest, which, first of all, I'm already going to stop you right there. I don't think there's a reason for you walking into these weird-ass forests, my guy. I don't think there's a reason why you need to do this. I don't necessarily know why you won't want to go this sort of way. Honestly, you could very much avoid it. What's needed to be in the damn forest and a night and alone. Well, you wasn't alone. You had homeboy, but homeboy got clocked by somebody else that was just straight up a dark-skinned naked woman, which honestly looked kind of good. Not gonna sit here and lie, but that's the trap. Essentially, if you go out into this forest, you ain't coming back, bro. Because high key, what ends up happening is that this guy gets basically taken around by these band of fine ass dark skinned women, this tribe of dark skinned women that can't speak no type of English. Basically it's like a weird tribal group of people. And essentially, they stripped this man down, put him on the ground, and essentially they all just went ham and got his, I guess their cheeks clapped by force in a weird way. Right? They were just praising this man's meat, just going ahead trying to, spawn some infinite, I guess, amount of children glitch, I suppose, because that's what was happening. Man's got put in this position, couldn't do anything, saying he was being tested by fate himself, and essentially he just stayed there for like a long ass period of time, couldn't break out. They didn't, I suppose they didn't really feed him worth of shit, if I'm being honest, and essentially they just had their way with the man. And you know how this shit ended? This man was old as hell, beard growed out and all that sort of stuff. Worst possible conditions in his life with a bunch of bad bitches, but at the same time these are bad bitches that you probably don't want to deal with at all. And then he was like, yeah, you outlive your usefulness, and straight up decapitated bro, and just like, yeah, we now on our own now. When it comes down to it, you have me now, you bad bitches, I suppose. And that was just kind of it. Man just kind of got hoed, Finesse was like just straight up out here, I guess, exploring new land, and essentially got his whole life taken away. And the one thing I will easily say about this thing is definitely the character design looks really damn good. The art style looks really damn good, which again, granted, if it's making it in this video, then of course it's going to be something about the art style that makes me want to talk about it, essentially, because why the hell not? Just again, it's just a shame that all of them fine dark-skinned pieces of ass, it is literally, well, honestly, I'll take it back. It might not even be absolutely their fault when it comes down to it. Might be a bit of sense of copium here, but honestly, I feel like if you just rolled in, maybe clapped a few cheeks without the damn bitch ass priest coming through, you might be alright. You might get to see live another day. So I don't know, maybe a dark forest, as long as there's no bitch ass priests in secrecy hiding around, you know, you might be okay. Granted, do you want to take that risk? Maybe not, but still, that is a lot of ass to just deny, though. The next one is called Sex Education Went Too Far. Okay, sure. This one is also part of another doujin that we talked about on the channel. I can't remember what it was. It was like Hard or something. But when it comes down to it, though, this is, if I remember correctly, I think that doujin had to do with, like, it's basically like Nukitashi, where essentially you had like this school and everybody was kind of just going at it, and that's just how it was, right? And pretty much like it was just a good time. The only difference between Nukitashi and this damn doujin series is literally the fact that Shotas and Lolis can kind of go at it without any questions or anything like that, and that's just ultimately how it is, right? So that's like the only dang difference. But for this one, the teacher here, yeah, she on that weird type of timing as well. Like, to keep it very much a stack, this is the type of people that Twitter loves to praise and glaze when it comes down to the opposite side of the sex of these sort of occupations, because they're weird and they don't necessarily know how to think for 5 seconds. But when it comes down to it, though, she looked mad good, right? She absolutely does. She kind of peak. She got quality on her chest that we can obviously see. Momoko, I think that's her name when it comes down to it. Basically, she's on perverted timing, you pretty much can already tell. And essentially when it comes down to her is that I believe a teacher was basically like out of class for the day, and so she had to basically teach sex education. And we already know kind of where that goes, and essentially, you know, she just started kind of doing what she does best and getting ran through by a bunch of Shotas. Well, first of all, she was actually taking charge, but then the Shota said, alright, we're going to start clapping her cheeks in every which possible way that we can. You know, we can just stretch her boobs out to be like from this way and that way. We could basically just use her ass, because why the hell not? Then we're gonna piss on her, because why the hell not? It's just a wild time. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, of all the doujins that we read, this series, I assume it's a series, is kind of the most heat one I've seen in a minute. And I might just go ahead and look through all the other dojins out this series if there's a lot of them, because we might need to make a video just for it by itself. I'm not gonna lie. And we finally reach our last one, because damn, this video is long. I am not looking forward to editing this. But when it comes down to it, though, essentially this one's called Innocent School's Arrow Manga Club. I don't know how much I can show of this. I don't know how, but we're gonna kind of go for it. But basically, it's kind of also what you can guess, but there's a little bit more here when it comes down to it. Essentially, you get this Arrow Manga Club that basically has this one member that just Arrow guy or whatever the hell they called him, and essentially he out here just straight up harassing a lot of the female students, because that's what he do. That is just basically his whole existence. And you essentially get to see him, you know, kind of running through a lot of different people. Now, I haven't read this completely because it's like 200 pages long, so I don't have the patience and the time right now to go through everything. But he just goes really ahead and just start clapping the student council president, like the VP, I think like a nurse or something like that too, and some other character. You know, there's just a bunch of characters that's in here that just get their trains absolutely ran through when it comes down to this one dude. Like, mainly the president is kind of the one I want to talk about when it comes down to it, because essentially this man was out here just straight up fondling on everybody, because why the hell not? And essentially you know, it was brought up to the president to be like, all right, we need to handle this guy. We need to shut this group down or whatever because this ain't it. And so essentially, with her finding out, she's just like, all right, bet then we're gonna go ahead and do it. And also, this manga is kind of funny because at least it has like moments where it's just like, oh, why does the president just have all these desks like spread around and this one sole desk is just here? Oh, I just want to make myself look important. Okay then. And essentially, she goes to this man's club room, and then essentially all she sees is homeboy just straight up using a VR headset while just getting himself over when it comes down to it. Not even fully aware that the president was even there. And essentially, she's trying to go in and try to, you know, I guess lay down the hammer of just the presidency of what she can do, and then she ends up just being forced to suck this man off when it comes down to it. And essentially it just leads into a whole bunch of other stuff, and then, you know, she ultimately just let the group kind of stay what it is, and ultimately she joins in on that group, and the other people that comes through in the Doujin also kind of just joins in on the group, right? Kind of just to get him to stop harassing the other students, just so, you know, so in exchange they can just kind of use their bodies instead, so the other students would be free from his wrath or whatever. And again, there's a lot of stuff when it comes down to it, but it's not necessarily anything like overly crazy with a plot or anything. It's just literally some dude running a Arrow manga club that basically wants to get ass cheeks for real. And honestly, with a lot of these bad bitches, I really don't blame him. Honestly, I maybe would have said no in the past, but thanks to Plus Size Elf making me realize fat women are also a valid option. But yeah, I think I also would run a train through everybody as well. But that is all I gotta say for this one. A bit of extra doujins on the way because, you know, again, kind of needed to, I guess, reward you for waiting for a long time because I haven't produced another episode till now, so there you go. And yeah, hopefully you let me know what other doujins you would like me to cover and talk about, because really, again, finding doujins and trying to talk about them every month, at least once every month, kinda is hard when there's some that just do not appeal to you, or just do not necessarily reach out to you in any way and form, or they do something cool, but then there's something in there that just done too damn much, or it's just like I don't really care for it, and that's just how it is for a lot of these. So again, let me know what doujins you have in the comments, let me know about their number, and I'll try to get to it if I can, or if it's something that appeals to me. But that's all I really gotta say for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out, also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.